Post-training notice. National First Class Registered Exorcist. Chapter 45. Akala. One day, JIXIAN inadvertently dug up a book in Chen Zhen's collection. The book was already very old, and even the title of the book had become blurred and indistinct. On the worn yellow paper, there were only hazy portraits, and paintings were used to tell the entire story. There was the Akala that he had seen before. Even though Akala was portrayed differently in different books, based on his magical equipment, it was indeed the magical form that Xiang Cheng had once transformed into. He couldn't quite understand it, so he asked Chen Lang. The story of Akala beheading the Devil Emperor. Chen Lang just pondered for a moment and answered JIXIAN. What is it? JIXIAN inquired. I see the sword of wisdom, and it is piercing a heart. That's the heart of the Devil Emperor. It is said that there was a very powerful devil during the Han dynasty. Chen Lang thought for a moment and wrote on the tablet, Akala was reborn in the human world, eradicated the devil with the sword of wisdom, and sealed it away. This devil wasn't recorded in any other book, and I have never seen the title Devil Emperor. Is it true? Chen Lang hesitated slightly and shook his head. JIXIAN went to find another book to read. However, when he came out, Chen Lang had seriously written a large paragraph of words. I don't think the Devil Emperor is true, maybe this title just refers to its name. A devil doesn't have a heart, so it should be a very powerful Yao instead, and right now, this is generally acknowledged in academic circles. Chu's existence in time is too old, and its existence is connected with that of Akala. But in ancient times, it was customary to substitute events with symbols. In cases where there aren't any written words to explain, it's very difficult to determine what is really happening. JIXIAN thought about it and replied to him, if it's symbolic, then what does it symbolize? The human heart. Chen Lang replied, devils arise from the heart. The academic circles believe that Akala specializes in stopping heart devils and uses the sword of wisdom to cut off all hatred. JIXIAN, that is to say, Akala subdues the devils that arise within people's hearts. Chen Lang hesitated for a moment and then replied, yes, but I think there may be another meaning. However, that's just my personal idea, don't write that on the exam. JIXIAN's index finger tapped the back of Chen Lang's hand to show his approval. Chen Lang, Akala's killing of the Devil Emperor can also be understood as Akala having once killed an extremely powerful Yao that had already turned into a devil. Just like our family's Dipankara's universal map and the dragon god totem of the Qi family. Myths and legends all follow similar molds. Otherwise, how could the Akala be reborn among humans? Or it can be understood, when Chen Lang wrote to this point, he thought for a long time, for around 5 minutes. Akala was reborn among mortals, for the sake of exterminating a powerful devil. The sword of wisdom with the devil's heart on it signifies that the sword is always stuck in the devil's heart. JIXIAN, but there aren't any roasted chicken heart kebabs on the sword of wisdom. Chen Lang. What if the power of this devil is sealed within the sword of wisdom? I once read in another book that the bloodline of some families is passed down from generation to generation in order to suppress the devils in the human world, otherwise, they would not stay in the human world. Everything has its reason, and it is said that the 6 families all have their own mission. Once this hypothesis is established, the Akala bloodline may be the power to suppress this devil. JIXIAN understood and touched the back of Chen Lang's hand. But where do aristocratic families like Akalanatha, Dipankara's lamp bearers, the dragon god, and the grey wolf and white deer all come from? From the heavenly vein. Chen Lang more or less answered JIXIAN directly without thinking about it. The heavenly vein around the earth connects to the powerful power of another world. JIXIAN, aliens. Yes, but also no. Chen Lang replied, a force that created the world and interferes in the operation of the world. It may be regarded as aliens in the eyes of scientists, but I think they are just life overlapping in our world in different forms. Maybe their form is completely different from ours. JIXIAN's brain began to get confused, and Chen Lang added, but definitely don't write this on the exam, it's all my speculation. JIXIAN, in fact, I can understand your speculation a little better. Chen Lang, heroes think alike. JIXIAN laughed with a haha and forgot about this matter. He decided to treat it as gossip and tell Xiang Cheng about it next time. There was less than a week left now, so he started to study and prepare this magical weapon. Chen Lang was obviously very interested, and he researched with JIXIAN and decided to make 2 pairs of twin rings of life. This process was obviously a little difficult for a novice Yao subduing engineer, especially a Yao subduing engineer without any certifications. However, with Chen Lang's support, JIXIAN adhered to the idea of being bold with his ideas but careful and precise with his verification process the entire time. They said it was a pair of rings of life, but they were really 4 pieces of iron. JIXIAN was ready to inject spirit into them by separating out one of his po and injecting it in. Of course, he wouldn't put his entire po into it because he didn't need it to produce any effects. He was just using it to protect Xiang Cheng. When one party was in danger, the other party would also be able to feel it immediately. Chen Lang had wanted to make this magical artifact for a long time. Every time Chen Zhen had a mission, he was just like JIXIAN, always on tenterhooks and full of anxiety at home. Chen Lang, ready. The process of spiritual injection was extremely dangerous, but if 2 Yao subduing equipment engineers worked together to make the same thing, they could use the power of the Hui Po to assist and adjust each other, so as to have the risk. However, JIXIAN was worried that Chen Lang's Ajna Chakra would have problems. After all, the magical artifact production manual didn't mention whether or not there would be a risk if one's Ajna Chakra rotated counterclockwise. If it wasn't mentioned, then there could have been a problem, but according to Chen Lang's understanding, if it wasn't mentioned, then this problem wasn't important. Moreover, Chen Lang had patted his chest and assured him that there were many Yao subduing equipment engineers who had reversed Ajna Chakras. Those who were born blind were all people with reversed Ajna Chakras, and they definitely never had an accident when drawing out the Hui Po. The loss of the Hui Po would worsen one's sight. If a twin ring was destroyed, JIXIAN's vision may be reduced to 50% or lower. Maybe it could be solved by wearing contact lenses. JIXIAN didn't care about that. Anyway, if that happened, then he would have an excuse to wear beauty contact lenses now. Chen Lang cared even less about it since anyway, he couldn't see anything. Even so, JIXIAN couldn't help but feel uneasy inside. Finally, Chen Lang patted his chest and promised that they could use one of the Chen family's magical artifacts to assist in the spiritual injection. JIXIAN was then moved by this prop that was like a 100% success rate upgrade in an online game, and finally nodded. JIXIAN, okay, be careful. Chen Lang went to a room and opened a safe behind the bookshelf. There was a red cloth in the safe, and on the red cloth was a jade pendant full of cracks. There were 2 fish on the jade pendant, and there was an obvious crack between the 2 fish. It had been inlaid with gold to make a gold inlaid with jade. JIXIAN, what is this? Chen Lang, this is a magical artifact that can replicate things, and it was taken away by the organization before. Later, because they were worried that it would duplicate the other magical artifacts in the boxes at the exorcism committee, they brought it over and locked it up in our house, since the peerless gold banner handed down by the family can imprison devils and take away all its independent power. JIXIAN, this can't be the legendary twin fishes. Then what? Chen Lang thought for a bit and said, it seems to just be called the twin fishes jade pendant. It can copy our Hui Po's power, and if we're lucky, there won't even be any harm to us. JIXIAN was almost scared into peeing himself. You should have said what it was first. No can do, no can do. JIXIAN wanted to put it back, but Chen Lang insisted again and again, saying that he had wanted to make a pair of rings of life for a long time now. If JIXIAN still didn't agree, Chen Lang was going to kowtow to him. And Chen Lang said again and again that his Gurgur had promised to let him borrow the twin fish's jade pendant. Chen Lang, then should we use the heart lamp instead? JIXIAN had to give in again. The two of them sat at the table, drew an array with vermilion powder, and spread it on the table. There were 4 circles in the circular array, and they placed the 4 iron pieces in it, and a focus at the eye of the array the twin fish's pendant. Logically speaking, the focus at the core of the array determined the success rate and the final effect, but JIXIAN never thought that the conductor would be such a terrifying thing. His whole person was about to scream, "Sparta!" Chen Lang made a gesture, indicating for him to start. Spirits of the sky, spirits of the earth. JIXIAN read from the book, Spirits of the Twin Fish's Jade Pendant, appear quickly. At the same time, he wondered, why was it such a spell? Wouldn't every Yao subduing engineer get laughed at when making magical artifacts? And it was so terrifying. What if 2 Chen Langs or 2 JIXIANs appeared, what then? Chen Lang and JIXIAN each sat on one side with their hands held in front of them. The twin fish's jade pendant quietly lit up, and the environment suddenly darkened. They seemed to be in a vast universe, surrounded by rotating stars. Between the heavens and earth, there was only this table, and the 2 people on both sides of the table. The 2 of them raised their hands at the same time, the webbed parts between their thumb and index slowly coming together at the center of their eyebrows, their eyes fixed on their magical artifact. The brightness of the jade pendant jumped up a few notches, and at that moment Chen Lang and JIXIAN's eyes glowed, and the light shot at the array. The patterns and loops of the array began to be infused with spirit. The soul was born from the heavenly and earth veins, and the power of life turned into human beings and stored in human bodies. In such an array, it was extracted to form a bright, flowing stream of light, growing brighter and brighter, flowing back and forth, before it finally was injected into the rings. That was an extremely strange feeling, more direct than the dragon pupil given to him by the Zhaiwen. When forging the magical artifact, JIXIAN felt that his soul seemed to touch a huge and gentle life. That was the womb of the world, the powerful force of the vast universe, like the embrace of a mother, sinking into each and every soul's. Mystery of mysteries, the gate of all wonders. The huge body of life constantly revolved around them, and the process of drawing out their Hui Pos seemed to be like them extending out their perception like tentacles into the whole world to experience this great tenderness. JIXIAN and Chen Lang's Hanpos constantly flowed into the array like water. Chen Lang's Hanpo had a gentle and pure golden light, while JIXIAN's Hui Po had a faint silver light. It all ran through the vigorous power of life, but when the array had absorbed more and more power, a faint green light left his pupil and entered the array. The array quickly turned green. All the green lights converged towards the twin fish's jade amulet at the core of the array, and the energy started to fluctuate and interfere with each other. Next, they both shook at the same time. JIXIAN secretly said shit, he had forgotten to control the power of the dragon pupil. However, the spots of light on the surface of the jade pendant exploded like fireworks, splashing around, and falling into the array. Chen Lang. JIXIAN and Chen Lang's eyes both went dark at the same time. They tumbled down from their chairs and lost consciousness. What are you guys doing? Chen Zhen's voice sounded. Chen Lang looked confused. Chen Zhen had almost gone mad from fright. When he had come in, he saw Chen Lang and JIXIAN lying on the ground, unconscious. He had hurriedly picked up Chen Lang and put him on the sofa. Chen Lang then woke up, opened his eyes, and as if he hadn't adapted to the light yet, narrowed his eyes slightly. JIXIAN opened his eyes and just felt a splitting headache. Chen Zhen patted him anxiously on the face and said, "JIXIAN? JIXIAN? JIXIAN?" JIXIAN said, "Did it work? How can you guys take advantage of the fact that I'm not at home to use the twin fish's jade pendant as a focus?" Chen Zhen was pretty much roaring, This magical artifact is very dangerous, don't you know?
Yes, yes, yes.
Xiao Lang said so. JIXIAN immediately said, I don't know. He said you agreed to him before you went out this morning. Chen Zhen was about to die from anger at JIXIAN and his own little brother. Chen Zhen frowned deeply and wrote quickly in Chen Lang's hand. He slapped him on the head and then forcefully drew an X on his chest. JIXIAN stuck out his tongue. Chen Zhen took away the jade pendant on the table. Chen Lang rubbed his head remorsefully, and JIXIAN smiled at him. Chen Lang raised his eyes, and both of them were stunned. In Chen Lang's eyes, JIXIAN saw a faint green light that flashed. Chen Lang knelt on the ground, stretched out his hand, and while trembling, touched JIXIAN's face, touched his head, pulled up his hand, and then looked down at his hand. Hey! JIXIAN said in a confused voice, Chen Zhen? Chen Zhen? You! Come out and have a look. What are you doing? Chen Zhen said impatiently in the room, Xiao Lang doesn't understand things, so you don't understand things either? Haven't you heard of it? The twin fish's jade pendant can't be used casually. Chen Zhen came out of the room in a gust of wind and said, next time if you do this again, I'll. Chen Lang raised his head and looked at Chen Zhen in a daze. Chen Zhen. Can he see now? JIXIAN raised his hand and tried to wave it in front of Chen Lang. Chen Lang held JIXIAN's hand, trembled, and put his hand on his cheek. Chen Zhen stood there like he had been hit with a thunderbolt, and his tears burst out at once. He knelt in front of Chen Lang, unable to breathe, and completely unable to believe the scene in front of him. JIXIAN was laughing, but Chen Zhen was crying. JIXIAN put his thumb against his little finger and stuck out 3 fingers. Chen Lang raised his hand a little uneasily and also stuck out 3 fingers. JIXIAN. Chen Zhen hugged his little brother, let out a wah, and started sobbing by his ear. JIXIAN laughed loudly, pressed Chen Lang's head, and kissed his brow. But my dragon pupil is still there. While eating, JIXIAN looked around in the mirror and found that there was still a little green light rotating periodically in his eye. He then looked at Chen Lang's eyes and found that there were now 3 dragon pupils, 2 in Chen Lang's eyes and 1 in JIXIAN's left eye. Chen Zhen also didn't understand the reason for this. After looking again and again, Chen Lang did some sign language and looked a bit at a loss. He's saying that he didn't know your eye had a dragon's power, Chen Zhen translated. You told me not to tell anyone. JIXIAN said, and according to the magical artifact manual, injecting spirit would use the Hui Po, and the power of the chakras would be the cornerstone of the process. Neither nearsightedness nor congenital astigmatism, or anything else would affect the chakra injection process. Your dragon pupil is an independent force. Chen Zhen examined their eyes one by one and said, I understand now, the twin fish's jade amulet copied it. Then it won't harm Xiao Lang, right? JIXIAN said anxiously. Chen Zhen waved his hand and said, God, thankfully the amulet didn't duplicate the power of the magical artifact itself, or that would have been trouble. Having gained his sense of vision, Chen Lang was a bit at a loss for now. He tried to scoop up some soup with a spoon, but accidentally knocked over the entire bowl, causing JIXIAN to laugh at him with a big ha-ha. He laughed at his clumsiness, and was happy for him. The world became rich in an instant. Chen Lang had to close his eyes from time to time, but he couldn't help opening them again to look at the world surrounding him. Chen Zhen still had lingering fears, but was also about to go crazy from joy. He came over to take up a dishcloth, and as he wiped the table, couldn't help looking down at Chen Lang. Chen Lang laughed, raised his hand, and touched Chen Zhen's face. Chen Zhen's heart stung with emotion, and he sniffled, waved his hand, and went to get Chen Lang more soup. Chen Lang drank for a while and accidentally knocked over his bowl again. Chen Zhen laughed loudly and said to JIXIAN, Xiaoduo, did you know, he was like that when he was a kid too. He accidentally got his food everywhere. JIXIAN looked at Chen Zhen, and Chen Zhen laughed and laughed, and then started to sob, saying, "Thank you, JIXIAN. It's nothing, it's nothing." JIXIAN had a kind of moving and shocked feeling, and watching Chen Zhen run around like a lunatic, his heart really stung. Before going to bed at night, Chen Lang was still obsessed with looking at the pattern on the quilt. JIXIAN asked him with his writing pad, "What do you feel when you see it?" "It's very beautiful." Chen Lang replied, "It's like suddenly finding yourself in love with someone." This analogy was too powerful. JIXIAN then asked, "Have you fallen in love with someone before?" Chen Lang, "No, but that's what I see in all the books I read." JIXIAN surrendered to him. JIXIAN, "Can you distinguish between colors?" Chen Lang shook his head blankly. JIXIAN took out a bag of colored pens to pick out for him. "What's the difference between this one and this one? Can you distinguish between them?" Chen Lang looked and finally shook his head. JIXIAN thought it was a bit of a pity, although Chen Lang could now see, he couldn't distinguish between colors. He described the difference between different colors to Chen Lang, but Chen Lang didn't understand. However, he had read about it in books before, so he nodded. "But for me, being able to see already makes me very happy." Chen Lang replied. JIXIAN said, "I often see strange things when using the dragon pupil. I am afraid you will get scared." Chen Lang, "It doesn't matter. From when I was young until now, there has been no happier time than today." JIXIAN laughed and rubbed Chen Lang's head. Chen Zhen finished his chores and came in. It was like he didn't dare believe it, nor did he dare sleep. He kept gesturing for Chen Lang to see. Chen Lang didn't know whether to cry or laugh at his antics, and pushed aside his hands. JIXIAN said, "How about you keep Xiao Lang company to sleep, and I'll sleep in your room." Chen Zhen hurriedly said no, 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 and said happily to JIXIAN, "I always dreamed before that Xiao Lang would be able to see something. Just now when I was setting stuff away, I was afraid that I was dreaming again, so I came in to see you guys." Chen Zhen would even wake up laughing from his dream, and until the middle of the night, JIXIAN still heard him busying away outside. It wasn't until the early hours of the morning that everyone finally fell asleep. From that day on, Chen Zhen, JIXIAN, and Chen Lang gradually got used to things, and their lives gained one happy activity: watching movies. Chen Lang would also look at JIXIAN's cell phone, looking at different people, and look in the mirror. He felt that people looked very strange, but of course, he also thought that he looked very strange as well. Before, he had completely relied on his imagination about what people looked like, so now that he could actually see them, it was a different feeling. JIXIAN began to hammer away at their magical artifacts with a ding-ding-dang-dang noise. It seemed that the spirit injection had already succeeded, but there was no way to test it. Chen Zhen wore Chen Lang's ring, while JIXIAN himself wore one. The other piece of iron was approximately curved into a ring, so dark and shiny that it looked worn out, and he was ready to give it to Xiang Cheng in a few days. The Exorcist's exam was about to begin, and there were only 3 days left. The Yao subduing engineer exam would only last the morning. On the eve of the exam, Chen Lang helped JIXIAN review for a long time. JIXIAN was still a little nervous. This was the first time in his life that he was facing this kind of exam. "Chen Lang, you'll definitely pass." JIXIAN took that in blearily, hugging his pillow and sleeping until morning. End chapter. Post-training notice. National First Class Registered Exorcist. Chapter 46. Chao Bin. JIXIAN slept while hugging his pillow until morning. Chen Zhen patted him to wake him up. JIXIAN ate breakfast with bleary eyes, and Chen Zhen specially drove him to the outside of the examination venue. The Yao Subduing Engineer Division exam was taking place in a large conference room on the 4th floor of the Exorcism Committee building. There weren't many people. In the 4 multi-purpose rooms, there were less than 800 people. Then came a series of clacks from high heels, and Lin Yura came in with a stack of test papers. Without saying a word, she handed out the tests. JIXIAN was sitting in the first row and passed the test papers back behind him. When he looked back, he couldn't help but glance at the old Buddha. The old Buddha was wearing a short skirt, a small blazer, hawksbill turtle earrings, and a string of golden pearls around her neck. "The exam starts now," the old Buddha said coldly. Her yin-yang eyes looked at JIXIAN, before she glanced down at her watch. JIXIAN felt unsettled as he opened the exam documents, thinking that she must hate him and Xiang Cheng for getting her great-great-grandson into that situation. The exam was really simple, and many of them were the types of questions that had appeared on the mock exorcist exam. At the 3rd hour of the exam, JIXIAN started to fill out the answer sheet. The old Buddha stood up, walked to his side, and looked down at his test paper. JIXIAN thought, "Why are you being so strange? If you want to proctor, just proctor. What are you doing staring at my exam?" Having been stared at, he easily got nervous that when he answer an item, he would erase it and fill it again. Finally, he finished filling in the answer sheet and began to check it. Fortunately, the old Buddha had stopped staring at him by then. Time passed quickly, and at noon, he went to Chen Zhen's office for lunch. There was soup and white rice made by Chen Lang in a thermos box in the morning. While eating, JIXIAN complained about the old Buddha staring at his test paper. Chen Zhen asked, "Did she only look at yours or everyone's?" "She just looked at mine." JIXIAN said, "If you finish off her great-great-grandson, will she make trouble for you?" "Probably not," Chen Zhen said, "although she has never liked me. This involves issues within internal factions, which you don't need to know about. However, Teacher Zhou will be hired again later, so anyway, she won't be so bored as to deal with you. Do you feel sleepy?" JIXIAN yawned. "If you're sleepy, then sleep." Chen Zhen was still reading the documents and said to JIXIAN, "There's another exam in the afternoon." JIXIAN lay on the sofa in the office and fell into a light sleep. The air conditioner was fully turned on, and in a little while, Keaton knocked on the door and came in. After taking a look at JIXIAN and seeing that he was taking a nap, Keaton took off his suit coat, covered him with it and then left. Someone knocked at the door again. JIXIAN woke up vaguely, but he didn't open his eyes. He shrank into Keita's jacket and eavesdropped on the conversation outside. "It doesn't matter," someone said. Chen Zhen's voice came from behind his desk. According to Yan Fei's confession, a man's voice said, he had many online, or that is to say, one of many. But we found such a memory in the soul bottle sealed by Zhou Wanyuan. JIXIAN closed his eyes and didn't dare to move. He thought, will I be killed later in order to silence me? Chen Zhen breathed out and leaned back in his chair. The man said, this is a memory about Jinghao, but it is very vague. Yan Fei once participated in the trial, but this can't count as strong evidence, Chen Zhen said. So, if it is necessary, the man said, I think I may have to interrogate Jinghao. I don't quite agree with this proposal. Chen Zhen said, it's too dangerous, who knows what that madman will do. Xiao Bin, don't underestimate this person. The man named Xiao Bin didn't speak. He leaned back on the swivel chair and turned sideways. Your little brother is eavesdropping. Xiao Bin said, he's already awake. JIXIAN immediately said, I didn't hear anything. Chen Zhen said, he is Xiang Cheng's diddy and participated in the JIXIAN case. JIXIAN sat up and looked at Xiao Bin. Xiao Bin had deep-set facial features, a not-so-obvious scar on his face and was wearing a black suit with short hair treated with hair gel, and a SpongeBob cartoon watch on his wrist. He looked like a gangster. If it's not necessary, I still don't want our conversation to be heard by uninvolved people. Xiao Ben said, I insist on that. With that, Xiao Ben took out a small bottle from the inner pocket of the suit. He is one of my people. Chen Zhen said, I also insist on that. Xiao Ben had to put the Lihun pollen bottle into his pocket again. Zhi Xiaoduo hurriedly said, it doesn't matter, I'll smell it, I'll smell it. No. Chen Zhen said only one word. Xiao Ben, I can't give you the note. Chen Zhen said, Teacher Zhou will also not agree to it. Jinghao is too dangerous. Once he is unbound, even if your entire oversight department went, you may not be able to control him. I think Yan Fei's mole is not that much involved with a monster that was killed 10 years ago. You can try to forcefully extract Yan Fei's memory. Xiao Ben put his fingers in front of him and fell into thought. Don't be so stubborn, Chen Zhen said. There must be a connection between these two people. Xiao Ben said seriously. What's the evidence? Intuition. Intuition can't be used as evidence. Xiao Ben said, if you don't approve the note, I won't go. Whatever you want. Chen Zhen said, it's pretty good having you as my secretary here. Are you interested in transferring? Zhi Xiaoduo couldn't help laughing. Chen Zhen said, Xiaoduo, if you're not sleeping, come and help me fill out these forms. Zhi Xiaoduo came over, and Chen Zhen let him sit in his seat and went to the neighboring office with some documents. Zhi Xiaoduo took a glance, and it was the names and admission numbers of the people who were participating in the Yao Subduing Engineer exam. What's your relationship with Gagan Torura Kita? Xiao Ben suddenly asked. That coat is from the field department. He wasn't wearing a suit jacket, is that his? We have a very pure relationship. Zhi Xiaoduo's expression, I don't believe it. Xiao Ben said. No one is insisting that you believe me. Zhi Xiaoduo said, you can imagine me sitting in Kita's lap and flirting with him all the time as much as you like. Xiao Ben's expression then grew complicated. According to his ever-changing expression, Zhi Xiaoduo inferred that Xiao Ben must have thought of something impure. If you still don't go, Zhi Xiaoduo said, if I yell, Kita will come and beat you up later. Xiao Ben said, can you help me stamp my note? The stamp is in the drawer on your left. He didn't take the key. How about I take you to play at the Fragrant Hills next month? Zhi Xiaoduo, of course not. Also, the Fragrant Hills are teeming with people in autumn. Aren't you afraid that my bladder will burst from all that squeezing? Xiao Ben, our entire supervisory bureau will be dispatched together. There are 45 people, with an average height of 1.82 meters. We'll clear the site in advance. Wherever you go, we'll clear that site. No need. Zhi Xiaoduo said expressionlessly, I can just enjoy it printed on a calendar. There was a knock on the door outside, and Kita pushed open the door and came in. Chow Dick. Kita said, come here, I was just looking for you. Xiao Ben's expression immediately changed. He sat in the swivel chair and completely turned around. Kita first rudely greeted Xiao Ben's ancestors to the 18th generation, and then roared, what are your underlings even working for? Stirring up a whole pile of trash for Laozi to clean up? Is the field department your babysitter? Xiao Ben bounced up like he had been shocked. Kita raised his hand and grabbed his suit collar, basically dragging him out of Chen Zhen's office while smoothly and beautifully cursing him out. Zhi Xiaoduo. Chen Zhen came back, and Zhi Xiaoduo had finished registering part of the form. Chen Zhen said, it's time to take the rest of the exam. Zhi Xiaoduo said, I'll help you finish the rest in the evening. Chen Zhen let out an N, and Zhi Xiaoduo said, is it really okay if I heard everything Xiao Ben had said? Although I definitely won't tell others about it, will it make things difficult for you? If so. Chen Zhen laughed and said, I wanted you to hear on purpose. If this kind of news is leaked to you, Xiao Ben will feel unsafe, so he won't dare to overstep and bring up Jinghao again. Is that person named Jinghao very abnormal? JIXIAN asked. He's crazy, Chen Zhen replied. JIXIAN nodded. Chen Zhen remembered something and said, right, this is for you. Chen Zhen took out a pen from the drawer and handed it to JIXIAN. This is my lucky magical weapon. Chen Zhen said, it accompanied me to my junior high school entrance examination, and college entrance examination, as well as the civil servant examination for the exorcism committee. I'll lend it to you for one afternoon. Focus on the exam, and you will definitely pass. Good luck. JIXIAN was immediately moved to tears. *******. In the afternoon, outside a factory in the examination room for exorcists in the Fengtai district, the test takers were all talking noisily during their half-time break. Xiang Cheng was wearing a white t-shirt, capri shorts, and sneakers, flipping through a book with his feet propped up. Qi Wei came over, sat down, and looked at Xiang Cheng. What are you looking at? Xiang Cheng asked coldly. Are you wearing socks inside your sneakers? Qi Wei curiously hooked the top part of Xiang Cheng's sneaker with his finger. Xiang Cheng, don't touch. Xiang Cheng stood aside. Qi Wei was surprised when he saw the edge of Xiang Cheng's white ankle socks. Xiang Cheng stared at Qi Wei, and Qi Wei said with a smile, in fact, when you clean yourself up a bit, you're pretty trendy. Xiang Cheng took his exam and matched the answers without looking up. JIXIAN bought it for me. I wear whatever he buys. Qi Wei then asked, how many did you get wrong on the exam today? Xiang Cheng didn't answer. A moment later, he suddenly said, how much was it? Qi Wei. Xiang Cheng pulled at his own sleeve with one hand, motioned for Qi Wei to take a look, and asked, do you know how much it was? More than 1,000. Qi Wei said. Xiang Cheng. Xiang Cheng pointed to his shoes, and Qi Wei said, 800? I guess. The whole outfit? Xiang Cheng asked. Qi Wei replied, 2 or 3,000, why? Xiang Cheng didn't speak. Qi Wei laughed and said, are you two together now? Xiang Cheng still didn't answer. He threw his pen away, gathered up the book, and threw it in the trash can. What's the matter? Qi Wei asked. I'm going home. Xiang Cheng said impatiently, giving up. Qi Wei said, how do you know if you haven't finished the exam? Xiang Cheng, I already failed the multiple choice section. Xiang Cheng put his bag on his back and went back to pack up. Zhou Wanyuan saw Xiang Cheng and said, you can't go. Even if you can't pass the exam, you have to finish it. I've already flipped over the wall and taken a look just now. All the guards outside are divine beasts. Xiang Cheng had a helpless expression on his face and had to pick up the book in the trash can again. During the afternoon exam, Xiang Cheng looked completely irritable as he scratched his head a few times. He got the test paper, and planned to hand in a blank exam. However, when he opened his pencil box for the exam, there was a small note with a crooked big-mouthed snake drawn on it. Next to it was written, good luck. Heart, Akalanatha. You definitely can do it. Xiang Cheng stilled, folded the note carefully, rolled it up, tied it to the thumb of his right hand, read the question, and began to answer. Asterisk. In the essay section of the Exorcist Committee's test, JIXIAN first flipped to the bonus question to take a look. It was an analysis question on the energy field of the heavenly veins and the direction ghosts flowed. It was a calculation problem, with the assumption that the total amount and intensity of souls in a specific unit area were fixed values. Given the relevant amounts in social psychology, it wanted the exam taker to analyze the impact of reincarnation energy launched by the heavenly veins towards the human world in 10 years along with the loss of power in resentful ghosts. Finally, the probability and type of magic were to be analyzed. What a difficult bonus question, JIXIAN thought, whatever, I'll fill in the blanks and do the analysis questions first. JIXIAN took out his calculator, opened it and found a post-it note in the cover. Xiaoduo, if you get the Yao subduing engineer license, can you help me? That was Xiang Cheng's handwriting, and next to the words was a fat and strange fish. Next to that was an arrow, written with the words Mola fish. JIXIAN was immediately beside himself with joy, and he took off the post-it note and actually wrote a line on the back. Of course, it doesn't matter if you don't pass the exam, I'll cover for you. JIXIAN was ecstatic inside, and he folded the post-it note and began to answer the questions with great speed. The old Buddha didn't keep watch on JIXIAN's test paper in the afternoon. Instead, she sat silently on the side of the podium and scanned the audience. Halfway through the exam, Chao Ben came in with a few documents. JIXIAN couldn't help raising his eyebrows and glancing over curiously. The old Buddha took out a private seal and stamped it at the end of the documents. Chao Ben glanced at JIXIAN and left. During the stamping, there seemed to be some talk from below. Focus on your test. The old Buddha said coldly, don't look around randomly. The examination room fell quiet again. JIXIAN wrote with Chen Zhen's pen for a long time and found that the amount of ink seemed to be difficult to control. When doing the analysis problem, the color of the words grew lighter and lighter, and there was almost no ink left, so JIXIAN twisted the lever and squeezed on the pen. JIXIAN was about to blow up. What should I do? Such a big pool of ink. What the hell is this? The old Buddha. JIXIAN was about to cry. The old Buddha took out a wet wipe from her bag, threw it over, and it slapped JIXIAN's head. JIXIAN hurriedly thanked her and wiped it away in a flurry. Yet as a result, the more he wiped, the more of a mess it made. The halfway written analysis question answer was turned into a big blurry mess. JIXIAN wanted to die right now and hated that he couldn't rip up the test paper. He didn't dare to look up at the old Buddha at all. The old Buddha looked at JIXIAN with pity and helplessness. JIXIAN finally wrote a lot in the few free white spaces. That's the gutter margin, the old Buddha said. JIXIAN had to switch to another place. For an Aquarius with obsessive-compulsive disorder, the test paper losing the beauty of being neatly formatted was even worse than failing. Finally, he barely finished the paper, and just had to pretend not to see the mess above. He wrote down the formula in beautiful English for the bonus question and calculated it. Then he considered whether to stick a 100 yuan bill to the test paper, but finally gave up the idea. In the evening, Chen Zhen was still working overtime. How was your test? Chen Zhen asked. JIXIAN gnashed his teeth and rushed over to pinch Chen Zhen's neck. Chen Zhen's eyes carried a cunning smile and said, I forgot that pen often leaks ink. JIXIAN wanted to cry without tears. Chen Zhen took back his pen and said with satisfaction, very good. It's not good at all, JIXIAN said. Chen Zhen said, if you did well on the multiple choice questions, usually you can pass. Don't worry. Today was the weekend, and Beijing traffic was super jammed. Chen Zhen also had to work overtime, so JIXIAN sent a message to Chen Lang that they would come back later, and help Chen Zhen sort out the forms and register people in the office. In the meantime, he also sent several messages and saw that the exam papers had been bound. Zhou Mokuo and department head Wang were going over the exams in an office. JIXIAN handed the documents to Zhou Mokuo. Zhou Mokuo let out an N, and department head Wang asked, what floor are you on? Helping run errands. JIXIAN saw that his name tag had Wang Lei on it, and replied, I finished taking the exam today, and at the same time, I am helping Director Chen sort out some data. Wang Lei nodded and asked, how did you do on the exam? JIXIAN thought to himself that he didn't know if his muddle of an exam paper was in Zhou Mokuo or Wang Lei's hand right now, but out loud he said, "It was okay, Ba. What did you score on the Scantron questions?" Zhou Mokuo asked. "I don't know," Zhi Xiaoduo said vacantly. "The Scantrons have already been sorted through." Wang Lei said, "We will give out the results tomorrow afternoon, so we must finish grading as soon as possible." "Come on, Teacher Zhou." Zhou Mokuo nodded gravely, and Zhi Xiaoduo closed the door. Night fell over the whole city, but Chen Zhen was so busy that he didn't even have time to think about eating. The documents from the Exorcist exam had arrived now, and he needed to do a summary, but he also needed to see the political reviews and give recommendations. Chen Zhen took out a cigarette, put it in front of his nose to sniff it, rubbed it a few times, and put it away. Zhi Xiaoduo was in front of Chen Zhen's desk reading out the registration information. Chen Zhen sometimes frowned deeply, sometimes seemed a bit regretful while shaking his head, and sometimes muttered a few words to himself. "What are you looking at?" Chen Zhen raised his eyebrow and looked at Zhi Xiaoduo. Zhi Xiaoduo was amused and replied, "Nothing." Chen Zhen sniffed the cigarette again, but didn't light it. "You can smoke." Zhi Xiaoduo said, "I don't mind. I don't want to start this." Chen Zhen replied, "I have to protect my body, so I quit." Zhi Xiaoduo had initially thought that Chen Zhen felt cold, indifferent, and tough, but after getting to know him, he felt that he was a really good person. "Has Teacher Zhou ever been sprayed with ink by your pen before?" "What?" Chen Zhen looked up in confusion and immediately denied it, saying, "Of course not." Zhi Xiaoduo said with a deadpan expression, "I think you must have left an indelible mark on Teacher Zhou's documents with this ink pen before." Chen Zhen ignored Zhi Xiaoduo and continued to look down at the documents. "The corners of your mouth seem to be quirking up." Zhi Xiaoduo stretched out his neck to observe Chen Zhen. "Chen Zhen." As soon as Chen Zhen put the document away, Zhi Xiaoduo hurriedly said, "Okay, I won't say any more." He thought to himself, "If you had just given us bonus points like you said before, then wouldn't everything be fine now?" Chen Zhen didn't know whether to cry or laugh. After the interview tomorrow, Chen Zhen said, "The organization may ask you to help them out a bit. They will pick some of those who have passed the Yao Subduing Engineer exam to temporarily act as rescued hostages in the Exorcist practical exam. Will I run into Xiang Cheng?" "I don't know." Chen Zhen said, "If Xiang Cheng passed the written exam, you should be able to meet him." Zhi Xiaoduo nodded and said, "Can I just scream for help?" "No need to scream." Chen Zhen said, "The examiners will put you and the other hostages in a maze. At that time, a special lottery will be used to form teams, with 2 exorcists and a hostage in a team. As long as the team safely escapes, that will count as passing the exam, although the specific process of the escape will affect the final score." "It sounds fun," and Zhi Xiaoduo agreed. "Xiao Lang will also participate." Chen Zhen replied, "The practical exam is equivalent to training, so there won't be any danger to you hostages. At most, the exorcists will just get points taken off." "Great." Zhi Xiaoduo said, "Xiao Lang must want to come out to play, but, will it be tiring?" "Maybe a little." Chen Zhen replied, "But in the practical exam, a teacher will take part in the scoring. I want him to take a look at Xiao Lang's eyes and see whether his hearing can be restored due to this development." "Oh," Zhi Xiaoduo said, "is he at the same level as Teacher Zhou?" "He's even older than Teacher Zhou's generation." Chen Zhen replied, "Master Chiao, he hasn't appeared in the association for many years already." Chen Zhen and Zhi Xiaoduo agreed on this and then hurried to return home late at night. Chen Lang was still watching a movie, and Zhi Xiaoduo yawned, said a few words, and then the two of them fell asleep on the sofa. Chen Zhen moved them into the bedroom in the middle of the night and read documents in the living room. It wasn't until the next morning as Zhi Xiaoduo yawned and Chen Lang came out to make breakfast that they found Chen Zhen lying on the sofa, having slept in his work clothes for the entire night. Zhi Ziaduo received a text message, which was a QR code, meaning that his Scantron had passed the cut-off score. The analysis questions were still being graded, and he would participate in the interview today. Chen Zhen, Kita, and other staff members would take today's written exorcist exam, one day earlier than the outside examination room. After finishing the practical, Xiang Cheng and his colleagues would have to spend another day taking the test in the examination grounds on the outskirts of the city, before they could come back and meet everyone. Zhi Ziaduo scanned the QR code, pressed the elevator button, and went to the floor with the interviews. Beside him stood Chao Ben with an expressionless face. Chao Ben whistled to Zhi Ziaduo. "Do you greet everyone this way?" Zhi Ziaduo asked. Chao Ben said seriously, "Yes. United Front Work Department." The elevator reported the floor. The old Buddha came in. Zhi Ziaduo looked at Chao Ben and motioned for him to whistle. Chao Ben looked forward steadily and didn't dare to say anything. "Chao Ben." Facing the elevator door, the old Buddha looked at Chao Ben's face in the reflection and said in a serious voice, "Inform the general department to work hard to wrap up things in an hour so that you exams won't be affected." Chao Ben bowed slightly. "Organization department." The old Buddha left with a series of high heel clicks. Chao Ben whistled to Zhi Ziaduo again. Zhi Ziaduo saw a string of beads in his hand. There was a jade amulet with strange lines carved into it hanging from the beads. The lock of 7 bindings. Zhi Ziaduo raised his eyebrows slightly and said, "Are you trying to undo a seal?" This was what Zhi Ziaduo had read in a book. This kind of jade amulet was a very rare magic weapon. They came in pairs, and the black jade amulet was used to bind Yao while the white jade amulet was used to unseal them. "Focus on your interview." Chao Ben said, "Little comrade, the country needs talents like you." End chapter.